August 6, 1945, 8:15 in the morning. It began as just another day in a peaceful city. People were heading to work. Children were walking to school. In those ordinary moments, no one could have known that, in the next few seconds, the world would witness a moment that would change history forever. World War II was in its final, brutal stages. The long and bloody conflict between the United States and Japan had reached a deadly stalemate. Japan refused to surrender, and the US military projected that a full-scale land invasion would cost millions of lives on both sides. Faced with this grim reality, American leaders made a decision that would leave an indelible scar on the conscience of humanity. In a top-secret program known as the Manhattan Project, thousands of the world's brightest scientists worked day and night, racing against time. Their mission was to harness the power of the atom and create the most powerful weapon the world had ever seen. And they succeeded. They built the atomic bomb, a device codenamed Little Boy. It was a weapon so destructive that even its creators, men like Robert Oppenheimer, were terrified by the power they had unleashed. They understood they were not just building a bomb, they were creating a new and terrifying reality for the entire world. On the morning of August 6, a B-29 bomber named the Enola Gay lifted off from the island of Tinian. Cradled inside its bomb bay was the Little Boy. As the plane approached the city of Hiroshima, everything on the ground was calm. There were no air raid alarms, no panicked warnings. For the people below, it was just another normal morning, the last moments of normalcy before an unimaginable disaster. At exactly 8:15 a.m., the bomb was released from the Enola Gay. It fell for 43 seconds, a silent harbinger of doom. Then, at an altitude of 600 meters above the city, it detonated. A blinding flash of light lit up the sky, brighter than 1,000 suns. In that single horrifying instant, the city of Hiroshima was engulfed in a sphere of fire. Buildings that had stood for centuries simply vanished. People were vaporized where they stood. The temperature at the hypocenter surged to over 4,000 degrees Celsius, a heat so intense it turned human bodies to ashes, leaving only dark shadows burned onto stone steps. The shockwave that followed flattened nearly everything within a 2-kilometer radius, tearing the city apart with unimaginable force. Nearly 80,000 people died instantly. Tens of thousands more were terribly burned and injured, wandering through the ruins in a state of shock, crying, screaming, and desperately searching for their families amidst the devastation. The once vibrant city fell silent, except for the roar of the firestorm and the quiet sounds of immense sorrow. In the months and years that followed, the suffering continued. Radiation sickness claimed thousands more lives, a slow and agonizing death from an invisible poison. Hiroshima had become a global symbol of unimaginable suffering and the absolute horror of modern warfare. 3 days later, on August 9th, another atomic bomb was dropped, this time on the city of Nagasaki. Shortly after, Japan announced its unconditional surrender, finally bringing the carnage of World War II to an end. But the end of the war raised profound and disturbing questions that still echo today. At what cost was this peace achieved? The total destruction of Hiroshima forced the world to confront the terrifying, apocalyptic power of nuclear weapons and the moral abyss they represented. Today, Hiroshima has risen from the ashes. It stands not as a monument to war, but as a global symbol of peace and resilience. The preserved ruins, the Peace Memorial Park, and the stories of the survivors serve as a constant reminder to all of humanity. They teach us that while wars may end, the scars they leave can last for generations. This is the story of Hiroshima, the story of a single morning, a single flash that changed our world forever. It's a story we must never forget, so that we may never repeat it. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to learn more about the moments that have shaped our history.